Good evening once again. Welcome to Emo Nightly News, every moment online. In tonight's news headlines, West Coast Cooperative Credit Union honors farmers at 21st Annual General Meeting. Graduation ceremony celebrates new tour guides in the Kainago territory. France reaffirms commitment to strengthen OECS partnership. Death toll rises as Venezuela's hospitals struggle following devastating earthquakes. St. Lucian becomes first OECS woman to earn medical degree in Morocco. Exiled Chinese billionaire sentenced to 30 years in U.S. fraud case. And Paraguay stuns Germany as World Cup knockout stage delivers more drama. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
From the hills of Morne-Jean to the plains of Rivière-Syrique, our twin communities are coming home. The Morne-Jean Rivière-Syrique Reunion, July 3rd to the 11th, 2026. 9 days of culture, faith, family, and celebration. Come celebrate Market Day, Hallelujah and Roots Festival, Sports Day, Community Day, and a river cookout in Rosalie. Island tours, a bar crawl, and dinner en blanc avec Creole. And we bring it all home with Gospel Fest and Rhythms on the Savannah, featuring Signal Band and the legendary Midnight Groovers. Morne-Jean, Rivière-Syrique, Generations United, Memories Rekindled, July 3rd to the 11th, 2026. Visit www.mjrcreunion.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 30th of June, 2026. In local news this evening, graduates of the tour guide program were recognized on Monday during a graduation ceremony at the Kainago Barana Ote in the Kainago territory, marking another milestone in efforts to strengthen community resilience and promote sustainable tourism. The program forms part of the Strengthening Community Resilience in the Kainago Territory (SCRK) initiative, supported by the India-UN Development Partnership Fund, the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, and the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP). Chief Annette Sanford congratulated the graduates on their dedication and hard work throughout the program. She also expressed sincere gratitude to the UNDP and its partners for supporting the initiative and said she was pleased to see the successful completion of the training program.
Today, we also celebrate the hard work and determination of our graduates, and some of you may have wondered whether you could make it, because I had conversations with some of you and said, wow. Some of you may have felt that the work was a bit too difficult, and some of you, especially those who are naturally shy, may have questioned whether you could ever have stood confidently before visitors and tell your story. Yet today, here you are. And so you remain committed, you persevered, and today you have earned something that no one else could have earned for you. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the UNDP team for walking this journey with us. When I spoke with someone about the program, she immediately recognized its value and was more willing to partner with us. The training ultimately, well, it cost a lot, of course, and I maybe can understand why some students have a little difficulty with college, even if sometimes we say it's cheap, but it is costly. And I am very happy that you were able to complete your training. Thank you, UNDP, for believing in this program and for stepping in without hesitation. Your support made it possible for us to complete this training while also completing and complementing the important work you are already doing here in the Kainago territory.
The chief also encouraged the graduates to take pride in their role as tour guides, reminding them that they now serve as ambassadors for the Kainago people and should always present their culture, history, and traditions with confidence, professionalism, and authenticity.
I now want to speak directly to you, the graduates in class, and perhaps even to myself. When I was a child, I was extremely quiet. In fact, it was very difficult for my teachers to get me to talk in class. So if they wanted me to talk, they would literally have to call me out for me to say something in class. And I know that there were some of us who felt the same way when we started this program. And look at us today. I'm standing here talking to you like I don't want to end, right? But it's a skill that will grow with you, and eventually you will be able to speak to any crowd, to anyone. But more importantly, I want you to know that you hold a very important responsibility. You have the privilege of telling the Kalinago story the way that it is deserved to be told. For many years, textbooks and outside narratives have misrepresented who we are. We have often said that these stories need correcting. Today, you are part of that correction. Every visitor we guide will give us an opportunity to tell the truth. Tell them that we were never a warlike people, that we were merely defending our lands. Tell them that we were innovators, that we were skilled navigators, we were craftsmen. Tell them that when we harvested a tree to build a canoe, we replanted. We didn't just leave it that way. And when we used our canoes on the sea, there was no pollution in the sea. Tell them that the baskets we wove from the natural materials returned safely to the earth without harming our rivers and harming our seas. Tell them that our ancestors stood and understood sustainability long before the word became fashionable. Tell them our story with confidence. Tell them our story with pride. Tell it with authenticity. As we await the commissioning of the Eco Center, don't wait for opportunity to come to you. Create it.
UNDP project analyst Sawana Fabian highlighted the importance of the partnership in strengthening resilience within the Kainago territory. She encouraged the graduates to apply the knowledge they have gained, continue learning, and share accurate information about the Kainago heritage with visitors. She also congratulated the class on behalf of the UNDP.
Today is much more about receiving certificates. It's a celebration of commitment, perseverance, your willingness to invest in yourselves, your families, and your communities. When the Kalinago Council identified this training as one of their priorities, the project responded because we believe development should be driven by the aspirations of the community themselves, not by the project or what it thinks it needs, but that of the people. That is the essence of this partnership, and I believe the relationship between UNDP, the government of Dominica, and the Kalinago Council, and our implementing partners is one that should be celebrated. This is exactly what the STRK project seeks to achieve. Whether we are supporting climate-smart agriculture, strengthening forest stewardship, promoting indigenous tourism, or investing in capacity building such as today's program, our goal is the same: to strengthen the resilience of the Kalinago territory from within. Each of you now leaves here with something that cannot be taken away from you. Knowledge creates confidence, confidence inspires innovation, and innovations create opportunity. And opportunity strengthens community. So I encourage you to use what you have learned, not only to advance yourself professionally, but also to share it with others. Build your businesses, strengthen your organizations, mentor someone else, continue learning. Every person you empower strengthens the resilience of the Kalinago space. You look around you today, remember that you have also built something equally valuable, which is the network of all of us in here. You are now stronger connected with one another and the Kalinago Council, the government of Dominica, your training institutions, and UNDP. Those partnerships matter because sustainable development is never achieved alone. On behalf of UNDP, I warmly congratulate each of you graduates. Thank you for your dedication, your discipline, your belief that investing in yourself is an investment in your community. Our commitment does not end today. We remain committed to working alongside the Kalinago people, listening to your priorities, strengthening local capacity, building partnerships, and creating opportunities for today and for today and for future generations.
Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization, Kainago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, Honorable Kozia Frederick, said he was delighted to celebrate the graduates' achievement. He urged the new tour guides to become proud ambassadors of the Kainago territory by telling their own story and defining their identity rather than allowing others to define it for them.
I'm very happy to be here this morning because the story of the Kainago people, or the Kalinago, has to be told. And it has to be told in many, many ways. For the most part, we know that the recorded history, written in the hands of, or penned through the hands of the European invaders, have never been an accurate story. And so we have an opportunity in our lifetime to tell a new story. And that's why it's important to have that knowledge and that knowledge transfer that we expect to come out of this program, and expect from the new ambassadors or the continuing ambassadors of the Kalinago nation. Because when people come into our space, it is very important to tell a story that defines us, more especially who we are, rather than what people perceive us to be. And so the training may seem simple. In some cases it might be tough because you have to go for rigorous exercise. But at the end result is that we'll have a cadre of young people who could help to preserve and also promote major aspects of our heritage. So that's the important key piece. What is also important in my view, a tour guide also enhances the tourism, the visitor experience. Because like we heard just now, tour guides are normally storytellers. And so when someone comes into a space, they are enjoying much more than just nature. They're enjoying an immersive experience of meeting people and meeting people in real time. And so the continuation of that story, that Kainago story, that proud heritage, that resilient story, that story of the fight to keep this space alive and well, is so important in our lifetime.
The ceremony also featured testimonials from graduates who reflected on their experiences during the program. The event culminated with the presentation of certificates to the graduates, followed by a vote of thanks from Francilia Daru, Counselor for Social Services, and a reception. The tour guiding program aims to equip participants with the skills needed to promote the Kainago territory as a unique cultural and ecotourism destination, while creating sustainable livelihood opportunities for members of the community. The Kiwanis Nature Island Club of Dominica has welcomed 13 new members while installing its executive team for the 2025-2026 administrative year during a ceremony held at the UWI Global Campus Auditorium in Roseau. The event brought together local Kiwanians, partners and regional officials from Martinique to celebrate the club's continued commitment to community service. The induction and installation ceremony took place on Saturday, June 27, with officials from Martinique, including Lieutenant Governor Jean-Michel Pachniali, incoming Lieutenant Governor Thierry Jean-Bart, and distinguished Lieutenant Governor Didier Saint-Louis, officiating the proceedings. Mary Winston was formally installed as president after being elected to the position in September 2025. In her welcoming remarks, President Winston thanked guests, sponsors, partners, and fellow Kiwanians for their support and confidence in her leadership. She described Kiwanis as a global service organization dedicated to improving the lives of children and communities under the motto, serving the children of the world.
I am honored to address you and share some of the milestones and achievements of our club. I was humbled to be elected president on the 30th of September 2025, and I am also grateful for the confidence and trust placed in me by our members. Since assuming this role, I have witnessed firsthand the dedication, generosity, and commitment that defines our Kiwanis family. For those who may be unfamiliar with our organization, Kiwanis is a global service organization dedicated to improving the lives of children and communities, guided by our motto, serving the children of the world. Kiwanis members work together through volunteer service, fundraising, and community outreach to make positive and lasting impact wherever there is a need.
President Winston also highlighted several projects completed during the current Kiwanis year.
One of our memorable activities, and I should also add, is a signature project, was the Christmas party held for the students of the Goodwill Primary School on the 27th of December 2025. This event brought joy, laughter, and holiday cheer to the children and reflected our commitment in supporting the younger members of our community. Throughout the Kiwanis year thus far, we have also distributed food hampers to individuals and families in need, helping to provide relief and support during challenging times. These initiatives are only possible because of the generosity and dedication of our members and supporters. We were especially pleased to donate a food hamper to the Operation Youthquake as part of our efforts to support organizations that provide care, guidance, and opportunities for young people.
13 new members were inducted during the ceremony, strengthening the club's capacity to serve communities across Dominica. The newly installed executive for the 2025-2026 year includes Mary Winston as president, Nicole Karama as vice president, Dania Labadi as secretary, and Lisa Francis as treasurer. The Kiwanis Nature Island Club of Dominica says it remains committed to building stronger communities through service, fellowship, and projects that improve the lives of children and families across the island. Members of the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union gathered on Sunday, June 28, for the institution's 21st annual general meeting held at the Salisbury Primary School. The meeting provided members with an opportunity to review the credit union's performance over the past year, while celebrating achievements and recognizing the contributions of local farmers. Delivering the welcome address, President Marie-Louise Pelwy said the annual general meeting serves as an important opportunity to reflect on the past year, assess the credit union's performance, and celebrate its many accomplishments while looking ahead to future growth.
Our annual meeting is more than just a statutory requirement. It is an opportunity for us as members and owners of the cooperative to reflect on the past year, celebrate our achievements, review our performance, and help shape the future of our credit union. It is also an opportunity to reaffirm the cooperative values that have guided this institution for more than 2 decades and continue to distinguish us as a member-owned financial institution. Our theme this year, Navigating Challenges, Delivering Results, reflects the resilience and the determination that has guided us throughout 2025. Despite economic uncertainties and evolving financial environment, your credit union remains focused on serving its members, strengthening its operation, and supporting our communities, and building a stronger institution for the future. I am pleased to report that your credit union continued to deliver meaningful results throughout 2025. We strengthened our financial position. We grew our membership to more than 5,600 members, expanded our support for education, health, youth development, and community initiative, and we continue to invest and improve services for our members. These achievements reflect the resilience of our institution and, above all, the confidence our members continue to place in us.
General Manager Erickson Robinson highlighted the credit union's continued commitment to supporting agriculture. He emphasized the importance of recognizing farmers who are members of the institution, noting that their hard work contributes significantly to the country's food security and economic development.
At this AGM, we have decided to recognize the farmers who have made a significant contribution to national development. And most of these farmers belong to the credit union. And the credit union has, in fact, set a path in recognizing them as we continue to grow our product at the credit union. In the early 50s, you would have heard of Collier Credit Union, and later in the 50s of Salisbury Credit Union. And these two credit unions, Salisbury being heavily a farming community driven by farmers, and Collier, on the other hand, being driven by the fisher folks, were on a path of developing their communities. But somewhere along the way in 2005, Salisbury, or in the early 2000s, Salisbury being one of the most vibrant communities, and you would have remembered the number of brand new four-wheel drive pickups that were purchased in Salisbury. Salisbury Credit Union at the time was not able to finance all of that. So here it is that we had Salisbury Credit Union by itself, and the demands and the number of loans that were coming through the credit union. On the other hand, we had Collier Credit Union with a lot of cash, and they were not lending as much. And the idea came forward that together you can be stronger. And the issue of the amalgamation came up. And in 2005, that's where West Coast was born, out of the merger of the Collier Credit Union and the Salisbury Credit Union. And that credit union has since grown from strength to strength and has improved the level of services that it could now offer to the general membership. So now we have our farmers who are able to source larger loans. And you say, why the farmers? The farmers are the pillar, because it's the very farmers who have mortgage loans, they have education loans, they have vehicle loans with us, and they have our all-famous Farm Plus and other loans with the credit union.
A representative from the Ministry of Agriculture also commended the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union for its initiative to recognize and support farmers, describing the program as an example of meaningful community partnership that encourages growth within the agricultural sector.
Today, we honor the men and women who are committed to providing safe, nutritious foods for our survival. Your dedication deserves our respect and our continued support. The ministry remains committed to building a modern, resilient, and of course, commercially competitive agricultural sector. Through the investment in climate-smart agriculture, available planting materials, irrigation, apiculture, upgrades in livestock breeds, competent extension services, greenhouse production systems, disaster resilient programs, rebatement programs in citrus, cocoa, pork and poultry production. We help farmers increase productivity. They increase, of course, their income and improve their livelihoods. However, government investment alone is not enough. Agriculture is a business, and every successful agribusiness requires access to affordable finance. To the credit union, if you want farmers to flood your doors seeking financial support to expand production, invest in modern equipment, adopt climate-smart technologies, establish agro-processing enterprises, and of course competing on regional markets.
During the meeting, several farmers received donations and tokens of appreciation from the credit union. The recipients expressed gratitude for their support, noting that the assistance would help them continue their agricultural activities. The recognition formed part of the credit union's ongoing commitment to giving back to its members and supporting sustainable agriculture in the communities it serves. Also in local news, for the second consecutive year, the Rotary Club of Portsmouth partnered with Medical Ministry International, MMI, to deliver an eye care mission focused on training, mentorship, and sustainable healthcare development in Dominica. Over the course of 2 weeks, the visiting medical team completed more than 60 cataract surgeries, helping to restore sight while strengthening the island's capacity to provide quality eye care services. This year's mission placed a strong emphasis on building local expertise. During the first week, 3 Dominican surgeons received hands-on training and mentorship from the MMI surgical team, led by Dr. Ralph Crew, while local nurses were also trained to assist with eye surgery procedures.
The Rotary Club of Portsmouth is proud to announce the successful completion of this year's Medical Ministry International Eye Mission, which saw more than 60 cataract surgeries completed over a 2-week period. This marks the second consecutive year that Medical Ministry International has partnered with the Rotary Club of Portsmouth, the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital, and the Ministry of Health to improve eye care services in Dominica. This year's mission focused not only on restoring sight, but also on building local capacity. 3 local surgeons received hands-on training and mentorship from the MMI surgical team led by Dr. Ralph Crew, while local nurses also benefited from specialized training to strengthen the country's eye care services. The Rotary Club of Portsmouth extends heartfelt gratitude to Medical Ministry International, the Ministry of Health, the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital, and all volunteers and partners who made this initiative possible. This is Kalisha Aaron, the Public Image Chair of the Rotary Club of Portsmouth.
The initiative is designed to ensure that local healthcare professionals are equipped with the knowledge and skills to continue providing specialized eye care services long after the visiting team has departed. The partnership between Medical Ministry International, the Rotary Club of Portsmouth, the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital, and the Ministry of Health continues to strengthen access to quality eye care while investing in the long-term development of Dominica's healthcare system. And to wrap up local news this evening, graduation season is in full swing across Dominica, with several schools celebrating the academic achievements of their students as they prepare for the next stage of their educational journey. Graduation ceremonies were recently held for students of Portsmouth Secondary School, World Revival Preschool in Wesley, Testimonial Preschool in Peebush, Woodford Hill Primary School, St. Martin Primary School, Little Gems Preschool in Portsmouth, Temple SDA School in Wesley, and Roosevelt Douglas Primary School in Portsmouth. Students were recognized for their hard work and dedication during ceremonies attended by proud parents, teachers, family members, and well-wishers. EmoNews extends heartfelt congratulations to all graduates and wishes them continued success as they embark on the next chapter of their academic journey. Stay tuned to EmoNews for more graduation highlights and coverage from schools across Dominica throughout the week. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next. Regionally, Camille Andrew of St. Lucia has become the first woman from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, to earn a Doctor of Medicine MD degree in the Kingdom of Morocco. Andrew completed 7 years of medical training and graduated with highest honors after successfully defending her thesis on the management of pediatric inflammatory bowel disease at the Mohammed V Military Training Hospital. She credited her childhood experiences as a patient in St. Lucia and the support of her family, the government of St. Lucia, and the Moroccan Agency for International Cooperation for helping her achieve her goal. Andrew now plans to return to St. Lucia to contribute to improving healthcare and strengthening the country's medical system. Her achievement highlights the success of the long-standing educational partnership between the OECS and the Kingdom of Morocco, which continues to provide scholarship opportunities for students across the Eastern Caribbean. France is strengthening its partnership with the OECS, following the accreditation of Ambassador Mariel Noel Duris to the regional organization. During the ceremony, Ambassador Duris pledged closer cooperation in climate resilience, education, agriculture, public health, and regional connectivity, while reaffirming France's support for the Eastern Caribbean. OECS Director General Dr. Didacus Jules welcomed the ambassador, describing France as one of the organization's key development partners. Both sides also discussed expanding collaboration in agriculture, education, youth exchanges, technical cooperation, and transportation. Grenada's Prime Minister, Honorable Dickon Mitchell, has reaffirmed his government's commitment to youth empowerment during a courtesy meeting with members of JCI West Indies. The discussions focus on youth leadership, entrepreneurship, civic engagement, and community development. Prime Minister Mitchell praised the organization for developing young leaders and pledged continued government support for programs that create opportunities for youth. JCI West Indies President Quincy John welcomed the engagement, highlighting the organization's work in leadership training, community service, and business development. The meeting is part of ongoing efforts to strengthen partnerships between the government and youth organizations across Grenada. Rescue teams in Venezuela continue searching for survivors following last week's twin earthquakes as the country faces a worsening humanitarian crisis. Authorities say more than 1,700 people have died, over 5,000 have been injured, and thousands remain displaced. Rescue efforts are becoming increasingly difficult as the critical window for finding survivors closes. Hospitals in Caracas are struggling to cope, with doctors citing years of shortages in medical staff, equipment, and medicines. Hundreds of schools were also damaged, with many now serving as temporary shelters for displaced families. A 4.9 magnitude aftershock on Monday forced residents to flee homes and shelters once again, although officials reported no major new damage. Meanwhile, the United Nations Development Programme estimates that more than 1.2 million tons of debris were generated in La Guara state, the area hardest hit by the June 24 earthquakes. The agency says clearing the rubble is vital to reopening roads, schools, and hospitals and helping communities rebuild. Luis Francisco Thais, UNDP resident representative in Venezuela, stated, "Clearing debris is much more than removing rubble. It restores access, enables services to resume, and creates the conditions for people to begin rebuilding their lives." The UNDP and humanitarian agencies are working with Venezuelan authorities on debris removal and recovery efforts as the country begins the long road to rebuilding. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next.
From 5 numbers to financial freedom, who will be the first Match 5 winner? Match 5, Dominica wins.
And now for international news. Self-exiled Chinese billionaire Guo Wengwai has been sentenced to 30 years in a U.S. federal prison for orchestrating a massive investment fraud scheme that defrauded more than 1,000 investors worldwide. Prosecutors said Guo raised over $1 billion through fraudulent investment ventures, using the money to finance a lavish lifestyle. A New York judge said Guo showed no remorse and ordered him to forfeit $889 million in restitution to victims. Guo, a prominent critic of the Chinese government, denied intentionally defrauding investors but was convicted on 9 criminal charges. Thousands of demonstrators marched across South Africa today in anti-immigrant protests, calling for undocumented migrants to leave the country. The demonstrations held in cities including Johannesburg and Durban were largely peaceful but were marked by isolated outbreaks of violence, looting, and clashes with police. Authorities deployed thousands of officers supported by armored vehicles and helicopters, as many businesses closed and foreign nationals stayed indoors. Some migrants reportedly fled the country ahead of the protests, while others were forced from their homes by landlords fearing unrest. Police say several arrests were made and more than 100 criminal cases have been opened against vigilante groups since March. At least 5 people have been killed in anti-immigrant violence since protests began in April. President Cyril Ramaphosa acknowledged public concerns over illegal immigration but condemned threats, vandalism, and violence, saying the right to protest must be exercised peacefully. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next.
Coming up on the outside.
Sit down, my girl. Sit down.
Dina coming up on the outside.
Looky.
Oh.
I don't know.
Welcome to the sports segment. The 2026 FIFA World Cup knockout stage continues to produce major upsets, with Paraguay eliminating 4-time champions Germany in a dramatic penalty shootout after a 1-1 draw. The historic victory sparked celebrations across Paraguay, where the government declared a national holiday to mark one of the country's greatest football achievements. Meanwhile, Brazil booked its place in the round of 16 with a 2-1 victory over Japan, while Morocco continued its impressive tournament run by defeating the Netherlands on penalties following a 1-1 draw. Attention now turns to the round of 32 fixtures, with Ivory Coast taking on Norway, France facing Sweden, and co-host Mexico meeting Ecuador as teams battle for places in the next round. The round of 16 is scheduled to begin on July 4, with Brazil, Paraguay, Canada, and Morocco among the teams already securing their places in the next stage of the tournament. And finally, in sports, action continued in the Dominica Football Association Division 1 League, with South City FC and Marigot United FC recording important victories, while Police FC and Kensborough United SC settled for a draw. South City FC defeated Exodus FC, while Marigot United FC overcame Naturescape FC to claim all 3 points. Meanwhile, Police FC and Kensborough United SC played to a 1-1 draw, sharing the points in a closely contested encounter. The latest results continue to shape the Division 1 standings as teams battle for valuable points in the competition. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next. And this brings us to the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 30th of June, 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and on behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This has been Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Have a good night.